should parents post photos of their children online? This has also been a very...
Parents can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
The reality is, from what I've learned, what I've seen, what I've heard and experienced through, especially through the Parents Network, is you should be really, really worried, concerned, and cautious about putting photographs of your kids online, especially now.
Breaking today, Prince Harry's astonishing threat to his own wife in a podcast with Hassan Minhaj. It's called Doesn't Know, a Lemonada Media production, which happens to be the producer of his wife. But that didn't stop Harry making his feelings very clear about the fake Duchess continuing to post Archie and Lili on Instagram. We're going to get to that in just one moment, then we're going to have analysis with my good friend Samantha Markle. She is, of course, the author, counsellor and estranged sister of the fake Duchess. But just before we get to that, Meghan is trying to make the best of her night out at the Dodgers. Date night, she called it, at the Dodgers, with a clearly miserable looking Prince Harry. Look at that. That's the best she was able to get of her husband. Watch the Instagram story.
Okay, what's looking at?
Let's go!
TMZ and fans at the Dodgers game now confirming that the couple were booed during the World Series. Here's the video evidence.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. No, wait, was it Prince
Harry?
Harry? Is that and Meghan Markle just came on the big screen, and the whole stadium started booing them.
Yep, told you it was clear as day. Revealing the narc. Also doing some really fascinating analysis with the footage and writing, did anyone else see that? He looks like he rolled his eyes right after she spoke. He seems annoyed. And if you take a close look at this, I think it certainly seems to be true. Remembering that they both know they're on camera at all times, because Harry, who hates the camera, is constantly being papped by his own wife. So, Sam, great to see you, by the way. This was a really, really bad night at the office for these two, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would say, it was almost as bad as a night at the Apollo for performers who get booed. I mean, and were they completely unaware or just covering? It was, I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, and then her PR, I thought was really funny. All of her publications came out with these fluffy articles about what they were wearing. And so my feeling was, God, there's nothing you could put on that would make that amount of booing comfortable. I don't know how they thought they could cover for that.
No, absolutely no covering for that. And not a happy couple in any way. Which brings me to this podcast interview, Sam. Now, it's incredibly uncomfortable for Harry because he recorded this before your sister, I believe purposefully, leaked the faces of your niece and your nephew, Archie and Lili, in this Instagram video, Sam.
Yeah, I'm not buying it, because if you look at, what's out there in the articles and the video, there's in one shot, there's a little girl with messy, really thick, reddish blonde wavy hair, and then that little girl from the back has long, stringy, dark hair. I don't believe they are the same child. And when you talk about all of her PR putting out articles, oh, she's finally, showing their faces. Baloney. The faces are so blurred you can't see them. So it's like, yeah, we'll act like we're showing you their faces, but we're not going to really show you their faces. Come on, it's so ridiculous. And then you've got, Princess Catherine and Prince William's children, full frontal, out in public, representative as normal children living their lives. The mystery and the act and the musical children, what seems like musical children, in my opinion, is so ridiculous by now. And I think that's what I see on social media. Everybody gets it. Everybody's saying that little girl right there with the dark stringy hair is not the same little girl with the thick blonde wavy messy hair. Sorry, it doesn't fly, in my opinion.
Yeah, and until we actually see these children, then of course, how on earth are we meant to know? But I guess what's most interesting to me, though, is this clash, this growing clash between husband and wife. And it's just so awkward, given your sister has been absolutely defiant ever since February when she was sent home from the Invictus Games in terms of putting, whether it's the actual children or body doubles or whoever, putting them out into her social media. Now, in this interview, Sam, and we're going to go through lots of the interview because, it's Harry trying to play the fool at certain points, but actually just showing himself up as the fool with Hassan Minhaj. This, I think, is the most telling exchange. It hasn't been picked up by the mainstream media, but he has asked absolutely directly, should parents put their kids on social media? He says absolutely not, in direct contravention of what his wife has been doing since February. Watch this, Sam.
Simple example. I don't know if you have this with Archie and Lili. Say they have a recital or a soccer practice. I'll look to the stands and I will see a dozen or so parents. Everybody has their phone out, capturing a really cute, genuine moment. But it's also a surreal thing to know that, oh, wow, I have videos of someone else's child and someone has videos of my child. And now with generative AI and Sora, the speed and rate at which these images and faces and your name and likeness can get manipulated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really terrifying thing. What do we do to save and protect the anonymity and the digital safety of all children so that they get to engage with the digital world on their terms? Yeah. Should parents post photos of their children online? This has also been a very...
Parents can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
The reality is, from what I've learned, what I've seen, what I've heard and experienced especially through the Parents Network, is you should be really, really worried, concerned and cautious about putting photographs of your kids online, especially now with this surge of unregulated AI. You just don't know where it's going to go. You don't know how it's going to be used. But that's also really sad. And like now there's parents watching this going, well, how am I supposed to share photographs of my kids with so-and-so on the other side of the world?
I'd love a rubber meets the road question with you, because every parent navigates this differently. What age do you think kids should be allowed to join social media? For me, it's 35. For me, it's 35.
Allowed by who? Allowed by parents or allowed by the companies? Because at the moment...
I mean, at the moment, now they have it for kids. They have Facebook for kids.
And okay, just to show that this dude, the Duke, is on another planet, he says that he thinks children should not be allowed on social media until they are 21.
21 is a sensible age. But the companies they won't ever allow that. They will throw tens of millions of dollars to lobby against that.
You could think of even just tactically as I call it strategic friction. Like even for me, even before you came here, just taking a moment to sit down with the things I wanted to talk to you about, us having a chat off this idea of add a little bit of friction between you and the technology. The opt-in is so easy. It's so lubricated.
Now, Tom Sykes is all over this on the Royalist blog. He's written, Harry tells parents not to put their kids' images online while his wife does just that. Writing, I was very struck today after listening to Prince Harry's new podcast with Hassan Minhaj by how much he must loathe his wife posting endless images of their children on social media. The prince was 50 minutes into the chat when he said in a line which has not been picked up by any other media yet, partly I suspect because listening to the end of this sycophantic encounter as a trial of patience you really would want to be being paid for, parents should be really, really worried and concerned and cautious about putting photographs of their kids online. The juxtaposition of Harry's interview with the story I broke exclusively yesterday that Harry and Meghan's team raced to scrub images of their children's faces from online platforms after accidentally including them in a pumpkin facts video is striking. Those close to him say it wasn't meant as a public rebuke to his wife, more an expression of genuine exasperation at the utter disregard of social media companies for children's mental welfare, which millions of parents share. But the reality of a husband urging restraint, while the wife uploads content featuring the kids, isn't great for a brand that depends on selling a vision of a harmonious marriage. Whether he was subconsciously chastising Meghan or doesn't really matter. The effect is the same. His words highlight a fault line in their partnership that they go to great lengths to blur the clash between Harry's moral seriousness and Meghan's marketing instinct. One speaks the language of protection, the other of promotion. Harry is urging the world to keep its children's images off social media while his wife is doing the opposite. Will they, Sam, Michael, will they actually ever be able to come to an agreement about this? Because to me it seems like such a fundamental issue. This is marriage ending stuff.
See, first of all, I think all of the hoopla surrounding the kids' visibility has perhaps the questions, the controversy. Why aren't you letting us see your kids? Many asking, do they really exist? Because there are so many inconsistencies out there. So I personally get the feeling that Harry might be doing this in an attempt to circumvent or to make it seem like there's some alleged justifiable reason that the kids are not visible. In other words, I'm totally against this. I'm totally opposed to it. He is how he's acting. But is he really doing that because they don't want the kids seen for some reason? Because maybe they're not in the household. Maybe they don't exist. You know what? I'm just going to say it. With different kids in every photo, their face is not visible. It feels like a cover-up, and it feels like Harry's just doing this to make it seem like there's a reason the kids shouldn't be seen on social media and media. Look at the Wales children. They're out there. Normal kids are out there. I'm not, no, you're not going to put your kids out there in compromising photographs, undressed, etc. Of course not. But the bottom line is life happens, life unfolds. There's nothing wrong with your kids being seen unless there's, of course, a reason you don't want their faces seen. Their kids are not so special that they can't be seen. This reminds me of when Michael Jackson was parading his kids through the airport in Mardi Gras masks. It's like, let your kids be kids. If their faces are seen, fine. That is not a danger. You are not that special, and that's not exploiting your kids.
Totally. Let me tell you, Sam, and it's very interesting. I used the Michael Jackson example yesterday, actually, because it's very interesting. I view the same thing. The damage that they are actually doing is bringing their kids up in this freak-like existence where they're barely able to leave the prison in Montecito, and they're missing out on the most incredible opportunities, which one day, trust me, at least one of those kids is going to grow up and think, holy crap, I could have been at the coronation. I could have been at the coronation of my own grandfather. But look, there's more on this because the leftist host asks whether Archie and Lili are going to be allowed a phone or allowed on social media. And of course, Harry says no, even though his wife continues to pimp them out via her Instagram anyway. Watch this.
The thing that supposedly connected people has now created more isolation than ever before.
I don't know if you guys have hit this crossroads yet, but what are you going to do when your kids ask for a cell phone? Are you going to give them a phone? I mean, have you talked to Meghan about this? Because I've talked to my wife about this.
We talk about it a lot, and I think that because of what we know now, we will be way more cautious and hesitant of allowing our kids to have access to social media. But the problem is so many parents don't have that awareness, because in no logical, fair, ethical, moral world should a parent have to consider that this app that sits on the phone, which, by the way, having a phone for your kid is a really important thing.
Totally. Yeah, to know where they are and they can get in touch with you.
All
Yeah,
of that.
Totally. Yeah.
All of that. But the moment that you give them the gateway to everything else,
Yeah.
kids will be kids.
I mean, Sam, it is just so painful. It is just so painful. But, sorry, do you want to come in?
Yeah, what's really painful is that he sits there talking about this ethical, moral world. And when you're talking about kids and their mental health and well-being, I never saw Harry or Meghan step forward when Sussex Squad trolls were attacking the Wales children, when they were attacking the Wales family. In other words, when you talk about ethics and morals, you better be role modeling that. And
oh my God, I know. And there's actually so much I want to come to on that because it's so egregious what they do later. But first, Sam, as an American, how do you feel about the fact that Harry is quite clearly pondering taking US citizenship, even though he doesn't actually seem to be all that enamored with life in the US of A? Watch this.
Am I going to become a US citizen? There are no plans to be at this point.
Nicely done. Are there things that used to confuse you about America that you now understand now that you've lived here for 5
No, it's become more confusing. It's become way more confusing.
Okay. What do your kids think you do?
That's a good question. What do they think that I do?
What do they think Dad does?
They know that we help other people, but they don't know the.
But when
they
you
don't
go
know
on
the
going
background.
to work, what do they think you do? So, like, my daughter comes over.
Yeah.
So she came to the office yesterday. We were lighting and setting this up, right? And she thinks I do this. She comes over, she goes, "Hello, hi, hey." She thinks I do this.
Yeah.
When you're like, Daddy's on a call.
No, all they're interested in is saying hi to the people on the call.
Okay.
It's like, you know, they're fascinated to see other people. They love seeing familiar faces, but they will run in, and there's the kind of occasionally there's the moment where there's a hand on the forehead saying not now.
Got it.
But then they just barge in, they jump on the lap, say hi guys.
I mean, I found the latter part of that very cringe, Sam. But what's so interesting, very obvious he's considering taking American citizenship, but then when he's asked, you know, how he feels, have things become more clear? No, it's more confusing. We know what he's talking about, Sam. He can't stand Trump's America.
No, and I'm going to say point blank, as an American citizen, forget the family stuff. First of all, he lied on his immigration papers reportedly about substance abuse. You know, we've got issues right now where politicians are potentially being denaturalized because of lying on their immigration papers. I don't think Harry's any exception. And secondly, on continuum during, through, this administration and the last, he has used his royal title. Again, I'm going to say this, against the Constitution. It's prohibited to use royal titles interfering in American politics for a clear conflict of interest. So Harry had no disregard for that. They were, using their voices, their titles in favor of Joe Biden, and Democrats contributing reportedly to Act Blue. And the list goes on. I don't think he should be granted American citizenship because he's violated our Constitution, and that's a biggie. He came out publicly and said our First Amendment is bonkers, as he's shooting off at the mouth, taking license to use our First Amendment. Who does he think he is? No, I think they should go live somewhere else, personally. As an American, it pisses me off, and I'm not going to candy coat it.
Nope, and I don't want you to. I don't want you to. The relatable moment of the podcast, Sam, although I found it, again, truly, sort of made my skin crawl, if I'm honest, was Harry, and it's just so sort of route one, isn't it? But trying to do an American accent. So I want your verdict on this. Watch.
What's the American thing that you do now?
What's the most American thing that I do now? Surf. Is that American or is that Californian?
I mean, people could also say that's Australian as well. I mean, drink Coors Light.
No, I don't drink Coors Light.
Do you wear shorts inside of restaurants?
No, but I don't really have legs for shorts.
Okay.
So that's
got it. You mean from this region down? It's
yeah.
Not ideal.
I got chicken legs. I don't really, no one should see my legs in a restaurant.
Understood. Can you do an American accent?
Which part of America?
Anywhere. I'll give you a sentence. Here, I'll give you a sentence.
Are you going to ask me? Okay, you got a sentence there.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah, yeah.
it depends on what it says.
All right, here we
let's
go.
try.
This is the most American sentence I could think of. I ordered breadsticks with ranch dressing at Applebee's.
Say it again.
The ranch. You got to hit
Ranch.
and then on Applebee's, really emphasize the A, Applebee's.
Applebee's.
I love Applebee's.
I love Applebee's. Now I'm just sitting here sweating.
I ordered breadsticks with ranch dressing.
I ordered breadsticks with ranch dressing at Applebee's.
That was decent.
I enjoyed that.
You laughing? Hey, do you like my Cybertruck?
Hey, do you like my Cybertruck?
You guys out there, you cannot laugh like this. We're having a real thing.
No, but by the way, the laughter, it's encouraging. Is it encouraging or is it mocking me? I'm not sure.
I
Come on, y'all.
we have a. There we go.
There we go. There
Yeah.
it is.
How's your yeehaw? Let me hear a yeehaw.
Yeehaw!
No. So
Oh,
you
sorry.
got the beginning part right. So it's the yee.
Is this a warm up or is this part of the thing?
We're warming up.
Okay.
Harry, we're gonna get into some heavy stuff.
Oh, this is like trying to like.
These are like
relax
if you've ever
into
taken an improv class. This is zip zap sop. This is just to get warmed up.
Sam, how was the accent?
I think it sucked, and I think they're both ridiculous because they're pulling out raunchy stereotypes to represent America. First, I've never had ranch sticks or ordered anything like that at Applebee's. I think I've been there once in my life. And the whole yeehaw thing, that's not American. There's, as with any country, there are different regions, different dialects. That is very much a Southern twang. So they're clowning around. It's ridiculous. But aside from
Yeah, but
that,
it's mocking red states, isn't it? It's mocking flyover country. That there is an undertone of that because this is the American liberal elite. I mean, this dude, who by the way isn't funny at all, where did he find fame? On the Daily Show, apparently. So we know exactly where he's coming from, Sam. What he is desperately trying to do, though, is make Prince Harry relatable. And I really don't think he is. Nancy Sidley had a take on the clip that I'm about to show you. She wrote, Harry has always been known as a bit of a dummy, but this pre-taped podcast made him look even dimmer. Instead of appearing confident and going along with what could have been a funny bit, Harry looked to his handler for guidance. Whatever confidence he had left when he moved to California seems to be gone, at least in my opinion. And that was in reference to the cold open of the podcast, which featured Prince Harry being put on the spot over the pop culture feud between Taylor Swift and Charlie XCX. Now, in some ways, this is potentially difficult for Harry, I guess, because we know that Taylor Swift has chosen William and Catherine over his wife, Meghan. But he didn't get into it. He offered nothing. Watch.
You think of this Charlie XCX Taylor Swift beef?
The what? Oh no.
No, this is serious because was Charlie's diss track even a diss track? I mean, to me, Sympathy is a Knife was about something completely different. But then Taylor comes back and I think escalates it with the actually romantic thing. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, is this fair? Or did Charlie draw blood and Taylor had to respond? Sometimes I just think, where do we go from here,
Well,
Now, Sam, you know how the entertainment industry works, given your past as a DJ and a broadcaster. For a cold open like that to work, Harry has to offer something. It's like, what is the gag? Just that he's been told about this Taylor Swift Charlie XCX feud? I just didn't think it worked at all. Did you?
I mean, I think he's being asked about something clearly he knows nothing about, and he's like a dumbfounded response. So, yeah, I think that was kind of a ridiculous interview. I don't think it was well thought out, and I don't think either one of them was really tuned into Taylor Swift or having any business talking about her. It just felt very, removed. It's like, what are you talking about her for? What are you... I think Harry, certainly Meghan, would love to be at that level, but they're not comparable. I don't think they, so Harry being asked that question is like in an interview with John Doe on the street. Hey, how do you feel about, this clip with Taylor Swift? Harry's just so far removed.
Of course.
From it.
And what there were no questions about Sam were about his real life feuds or his life with the royal family. None of that. For me, the best moment in the podcast was when Hasjan Minhaj did mock him, I guess in a gentle manner, in regards to Spare and how ridiculous Harry looked in the autobiography Spare. And it was interesting. Watch Harry here, Sam, because I almost wonder if he now knows, a couple of years on, if he now knows how self-indulgent and ludicrous this book actually was.
And it was this quote: "Each year I received from Pa an official clothing allowance, but that was strictly for formal wear, suits and ties, ceremonial outfits. For my everyday casual looks, I'd go to TK Maxx, the discount store. I was particularly fond of their once-a-year sale when they'd be flush with items from Gap or J. Crew, items that had just come out of season or were slightly damaged. Bro, I'm sorry you had to go through that."
I know. You know what? It was hard. It was really hard. TK Maxx it's now a special place. Forms a special place in my memory.
And as I was reading that, I was just like, it's TK Maxx. But it could have been worse. It could have been Ross, Dress for Less.
Do you guys have TK Maxx here?
It's TJ Maxx.
TJ Maxx.
Slightly different, but I'm just glad to see that you're on the other side of the discount rack.
Thank you.
And look, I know you could say it's a funny moment, Sam, but I think that looked like genuine embarrassment from Harry. And of course, the book was so much worse and so much more self-indulgent than that.
Exactly. So I want to get back to his discussion about morals and ethics. I mean, in that book, he shared, ingesting substances at Courtney Cox's house, chocolate mushrooms. He talks about fantasies of air assaults on his father that were only called off by his report at his request. He talks about mounting an elderly woman and makes her body and the whole experience seem really grotesque. So this guy, in my opinion, totally can't be put in the same sentence and shouldn't be discussing ethics and morality. And to pick out, something about TJ Maxx or Ross is like really a deflection from the crap, in my opinion, that's in that book. Why didn't they discuss that?
Totally. I mean, it's like, don't go on a podcast where you're meant to be unfiltered. And remember, Harry had discussions with this guy, Hasjan Minhaj, about them launching their own podcast. Thank God they didn't, Sam, because he wasn't prepared to open up about anything. But look, this clip is the one that's going to make you really angry, right? Because this is when he spoke about why him and Meghan started their bizarre campaign against the internet. And it was simply because of what he describes as beatings they took as a couple on social media. Watch.
There's so many things you could do with your time, your platform. Was there a particular moment that made you go, this is something that I want to focus on? Was it something that you experienced in your life that made you want to focus on it?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, myself and my wife, we've talked about this quite a lot. We've had our fair share of beatings on social media. And I guess when we moved to the US, one of the things that we both agreed on was, yes, we could focus on the things that really, that are very clearly, obviously aligned to our passions and causes.
Yeah.
Social media, the tech industry was not one of those things.
It just wasn't something you were clocking at the time.
No.
Yeah.
But what we agreed and what we were in search of was, what is the root cause of so much suffering and pain around the world? And if we can identify that, how can we shine a light on that and support the people trying to change the industry?
Now, the Royal Grift posted after seeing that Hassan doesn't know Prince Harry supports and funds an online terror militia called The Sussex Squad. Harry and Meghan's Sussex soldiers have openly attacked many with racist online posts that can be seen as threatening. The anti-Semitism seen against Stephanie Sidley is a shining example of the kind of hate Meghan's funded bot farms create to harm and hurt people psychologically. And I mean, Sam Markle, who are probably the two people who have been targeted most by the Sussex Squad, it's you and it's me, okay? And so for him to be sitting there talking about online social media beatings, it's like, and not acknowledging the Sussex Squad, nuts.
Not only the Sussex Squad, but, you know, let's not forget their vast resource paid PR that they have in my viciously. And I'm going to point out the fact that he sits there acting so innocent, in my opinion, totally deflecting from what he has done that has been extremely toxic to so many people. Yes, the Sussex Squad, let's start there, the paid PR. And an example of this, in the Judge Warby case, a letter was shared with everyone where Harry, you know, a bunch of nasty stuff was said, and Harry said verbatim to Jason Knopf, oh, but we have to make it look like we were not involved. So I think that's really representative of his MO, in my opinion. And the fact that he sits there and deflects, now, you know, it's like the fireman, the arsonist, starting fires and then getting out a hose and say, look at me, I really want to do something about this. Let's put out these fires. I want to be a hero. I want to help the problem. Well, no, in my opinion, you are a huge part of the problem globally because of the resources you have used to attack others, to destroy others, and in many situations to deflect from your own deviance. So don't pull that crap, certainly not with me. It's not going to fly.
No, not going to fly with me either. And it also certainly wasn't going to fly, Sam, Harry lecturing us. I mean, this is where he's been totally infiltrated by the woke mind virus about EQ, emotional intelligence, from the man who has the least emotional intelligence in the world when you look at the way that he's treated his family over the past decade. Watch this.
Be sitting here being super critical of the characters or the personalities of the people that are making the decisions. But one thing that is seriously lacking is EQ, emotional intelligence. There's probably, arguably, quite a lot of IQ there, but there's not enough EQ. And I think there's a tendency to create platforms and habits which the creators themselves were comfortable being in that environment. The individual that can sit in their bedroom behind their computer, coding, doing all this kind of stuff, who was comfortable being lonely.
Okay.
Right? Now these platforms are doing or forcing children in a way to become more isolated, while they're telling us that it's connecting them.
I mean, save your Californian woke mumbo jumbo, Harry, okay? But do not talk to me about emotional intelligence, because you and your wife have no emotional intelligence, or EQ, as you want to put it.
Right. Yeah, and they're not, he's not an internet expert. I mean, I think this, you know, this move, this push to, again, I think, you know, to start attacking the internet and allegedly wanting to protect children on the internet. Well, again, he never stopped the Sussex Squad or others from attacking the Wales children. What about their health and well-being? And I think it's all a deflection, but I think part of that is that another grasping for straws at trying to rear their heads in political issues that they shouldn't be dabbling in, using royal titles. Like if they just use their names, that's fine, like any citizen. But they're using false credibility and clout and an elevated sense of who they are because of those titles and the royal status, which is wrong. Get out of it, because I think he's just doing it in line with what he was doing at the Aspen Institute. It's a push for censorship, certainly in America. It's a push for wanting to align himself with what should be labeled misinformation, disinformation. So it's like others can't speak, others can't do anything on the internet, but I am going to do whatever I want to because I have the resources and the title to do it. I'm going to badmouth the Constitution. I'm going to pay PR and use social media to destroy others, you know, who reveal me or my deviance, seemingly. And I'm going to do what I want. It's like, you know, a rich person who is dangerous with a lot of money and very hypocritical, in dabbling in social media and politics. In my opinion, you know, get off the stage, get off the global stage right now.